my speech on Stand Your Ground law. Imagine for a moment a mother of a 17-year-old young man. She is sitting listening to her son's voice on a tape recording. She is listening as her son is describing to a friend how he is concerned that he is being followed by a complete stranger. The friend gives him some good advice and tells him to run. Well, her son, being a typical 17-year-old, refuses, and he decides to stand his ground. Later in the recording, the mother hears some scuffle, a confrontation, and some screams that she believes is the sound of her son and the screams of her own son. Now fast forward a little bit and imagine this same mother in a courtroom full of people standing very close to the accused murderer of her son. Then imagine hearing two words that she never wanted nor imagined on hearing: not guilty. This was the verdict that pierced the heart of Sabrina Fulton, mother of Trayvon Martin, on July 13, 2013. The verdict was heard by millions. The basis of George Zimmerman's defense was stand your ground law. Just as 9/11 changed many lives, so did this verdict. The verdict changed many people's lives and views of our judicial system. Stand your ground law. Generally, stand your ground law states how under certain circumstances an individual can use a certain amount of force to defend themselves without first attempting to retreat from the danger. Now, the purpose of this law was to remove the confusion about when an individual can defend themselves and therefore eliminate the prosecution of people who legitimately use self-defense even though they had no attempt to retreat from the threat. Now, in 2005, Florida was one of the first states to pass your Stand Your Ground law. Now, since then, more than 40 states, including Indiana, followed suit or passed a similar law. Now, the problem is, within 5 years of passing the law, the homicide rate in the state of Florida alone has tripled. And this is according to the Florida Department of Law Statistics. Other states that have the same law have similar statistics as Florida. Now, the problem with the Stand Your Ground law is, was the defense justifiable or not? And oftentimes, it's hard to prove if these crimes indeed are justifiable self-defense or not. Why? Because oftentimes, the only other witness is dead. It is vital to our society, since we, Indiana, has adopted a similar law, to do whatever we can to repeal it. Lives are at stake, and it is worth revisiting the law. It's not going to be easy, since the law has the backing of such groups as the NRA, the National Rifle Association, and ALEC, the American Legislative Exchange Council. I urge you all to take action. You may ask yourself, well, what can I do? Or what should I do? Some of the things you can do is, for example, you can support your local leaders who oppose such laws. Anytime you hear that there is a march or a petition that's going on, you can get involved. You can march. You can sign the petition. You can also write your local politicians. You can write them all, from the city council up to the governor. You also need to know the candidate and where they stand and what position they hold. Understand their agendas and how they voted on previous issues. Also, you want to vote your beliefs and not always stay or stick to a party line. Thank you.